Color is beautiful. So when a blind man asked me what it was like to see color, my fear was that I couldn't do it justice. But then I remembered that the color of the skin we are in is an inescapable reality. How could I justify the true beauty of color without justifying the pain and scars it leaves on the souls of people that have to live in a society where they are judged and deemed worthy by the color of their skin? Hello all, my name is Jeannie Rodriguez, and today I wanted to discuss with you the topic of color. Have you ever thought about how often we see and use color to make judgments? Maybe for some of you, it's the way that you pick your favorite starburst, the way you fight for the pink one. Maybe it's being rude to your waiter or waitress because they look different to you. Or maybe it's choosing a different checkout line or choosing to cross to the other side of the street because you told yourself that you need to fear the color of someone's skin. To live in a society where you must worry about the shade of your skin color is enough for the person next to you to see you and to respectably treat you like a human. Thinking about that is just a tough way to live day in and day out. For me, it always sounded a little something like, how can you not speak Spanish? Your last name is Rodriguez and you can't speak Spanish? How shameful. Where is your culture? Why didn't your parents ever teach you Spanish? Was that something that you really, really suffered from? What's wrong with this? And for me, people take one look at me and categorize me into someone I am not. They assume and pass judgment that not only harm my identity, but at one point in my life, it made me feel insecure. I doubted myself, and I began to question who I was, if I was enough for the people that were questioning me and making me doubt myself. I then soon realized that I was one of the many stuck in the middle. One of the many that are stuck in the middle that feel not cultured enough to be Spaniard or Mexican, yet not being white enough to be white either. And I was stuck in this man-made system that determined my self-worth. But I now realize that the root of this societal ill is the one that plays a part in the world's deeply entrenched racism, colorism. And colorism refers to discrimination based on the skin color. It is a disadvantage to dark-skinned people while privileging those with lighter skin. Research has linked colorism to smaller incomes, lower marriage rates, longer prison terms, and fewer job prospects for darker-skinned people. Colorism has existed for centuries and is now as a persistent form of discrimination that should be fought with the same urgency as racism. The idea that white skin is superior to dark skin typically derives from the thinking that believes that lighter complexions are from ruling classes as opposed to those with darker complexions. Colorism yields to the real-world advantages towards dark-skinned individuals for things like their total income, romantic associations, and even sentencing for imprisonment. I would like to shed a light that Latinos make $5,000 more on average than the dark-skinned Latinos, according to Shakir Vendem, author of The Hidden Brain: How Our Unconscious Minds Elect Presidents, Control Markets, Wage Wars, and Save Our Lives. A Villanova University study showed that more than 12,000 African American women imprisoned in North Carolina found that larger study showed that more than 12,000 African American women imprisoned in North Carolina found that their lighter-skinned black women received a shorter sentence than their darker-skinned counterparts. Research, also by Stanford psychologist Jennifer Eberhardt, found that darker-skinned black defendants were twice as likely as lighter-skinned black defendants to get the death penalty for crimes involving white victims. Does this not light a fire in you? Hearing these statistics. Researchers who conducted a study called Shedding Light on Marriage said they found out that light skin shade, as measured by survey interviewers, is associated with about 15% greater probability of marriage for young black women than those with darker skin. So you see, with a difficult question like that, it was important for me to respond with diligence. What is it like to see color? For me to describe color, that stretched farther than a rainbow. It was important for me to take this moment and shed a light on the topic that doesn't directly apply to me or my life. It was my civic duty to dive deeper into the fundamentals of color. To share how color is served as society's most obvious principle in determining how a person will be evaluated and judged throughout their life. So at no time do we need to be able to lend a hand and love one another as brothers and sisters and for who we are more than now. Our world has no room for discrimination, prejudice, bias, racism, or color to exist. It can only exist if we let it. We must recognize the privilege and demonizing of one person's skin color over the next. We must call out racism. Color has nothing to do with our truth, our authenticity, and most certainly shouldn't have to diminish our own self-acceptance and self-worth. When we learn to acknowledge, love, and respect all colors of the skin upon our diverse humanity, only then can we truly see and explain the true beauty of color. Thank you.